Hello, I'm Julie Griffin, and today I want to talk to you about presets. If you are using Lightroom to process your images, using presets is going to save you so much time. This is going to be true for presets that you purchase, like from me or from anybody else. A lot of people are offering presets these days, or for presets that you create yourself. So today I'm going to talk you through how to create a preset yourself based on a hand edit that you did. I'm going to teach you how to modify an existing preset that you already have and how to create a second version of an existing preset that you already have. I hope this is super helpful at saving you time and making your editing workflow more efficient and consistent. So let's get started with modifying an existing preset that you already have. What we're looking at here is an image that I recently shot. Isn't she so cute? And over here on the left-hand side of my screen, you see my presets that I sell on juliegriffineducation.com. And I'm going to edit this session using Julie Griffin in the Pines Classic. And I've already made a copy of that preset because I don't want to actually modify the preset that I do use myself in my own workflow. So we're going to modify a preset and save it for future use. This is going to be a really useful thing to do if you are using presets that you purchased and you find that you are making the exact same change every time you use one of those presets. So for example, say like my presets, say your preset has white balance built in and you're finding that the light where you shoot is just a different temperature and you're always changing the white balance every time you use that preset. You could just go ahead and change the white balance in that preset to save you that step. Another time where you would use this might be that if you are shooting with a different camera body, you might want to build in your camera body's profile into the preset so that every time you use that preset to modify your own images, you're going to already have the profile that you prefer built into the preset. So let's go ahead and click on this preset in the Pines Classic. Where are you? Here we go. Here's the copy that I made. Let's say that I want to change my camera profile, and if you're every camera body is going to be a little bit different. You're going to click on profile up here and then go down to browse, and you could you'll probably want to find camera matching. It's going to look a little bit different depending what body you're using. I'm just going to select one for funsies for the sake of showing you how this works. I'm going to do camera faithful and hit close. And let's say I want to warm this up to 8,000 Kelvin and that I want this to happen every time I use this preset. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over to the preset that I want to modify forever. I'm going to hover over it. I'm going to right click and I'm going to select update with current settings. When I do that, it's going to bring up a box that has a bunch of check boxes that represent all of the develop adjustments over here in the develop module of Lightroom. Now, when you update a develop preset, you want to check all of the boxes of everything that you want to be applied to an image when you apply this preset. So we're not just going to click on camera profile and white balance, which are the two things that we just modified. We're going to check everything that needs to be applied when this preset is used. So I'm going to click check all, and I'm going to uncheck the local adjustments that I don't want to apply, which would be graduated filters, radial filters, transform, and exposure. I don't have exposure, any exposure changes built into any of the presets because I think that that needs to be set per image. So this is what it's going to represent if you are modifying one of my presets that you've purchased from me. And you just need to make sure that you are checking every single box that needs to be applied when you apply a preset. So now I'm going to click update. And now you'll see if we go to a fresh image that is straight out of camera, if we apply that preset that we just changed, it's going to have that new camera profile and the new white balance built into it. So I've changed that preset forever. Okay, second, I'm going to show you how to create an alternate version of an existing preset. This would be super useful if you have a preset that you love at a certain location, but sometimes it's super sunny and sometimes it's overcast, and there might be changes that you make to that preset when you are shooting on an overcast day, such as changing the white balance and maybe the contrast. So you might not want to change the preset that you have because it's not always overcast, but maybe you want to make a second one so that you can use for overcast days. Another time that you might like to use a second version or an alternate version of a preset that you love would be for clothing colors. Say your client's wearing like a bright red clothing, and you know that every time clients wear bright red, you go in your HSL panel and you make some tweaks to make sure that red isn't too blaring for your final images. You could make an alternate version of your preset for on a day that your clients are wearing bright red clothing, and that way you wouldn't have to make any changes in the HSL panel. You would just have to use that alternate preset. So let's look at what that would look like. So we're going to apply the base preset that we want to use. We're going to make the adjustments that we want to make. And let's say we're going to make a much warmer version of this preset that we want to use on an overcast day at this location. So I would probably warm it up quite a bit and maybe even bring up the tint. And I don't know, I'm just like off the top of my head, since I'm not actually looking at an overcast image, I might want to make the tint a little bit closer to magenta and maybe bring up the contrast a little bit. Now, instead of modifying the existing preset like we did before, we're going to go up here to Develop. In Lightroom, we're going to go up to Develop, click on New Preset, and now we're going to check all the boxes that we want to apply when we apply this preset. So it's going to be probably the same things that we did before. In my case, it's going to be everything but exposure, local adjustments, which would be graduated filters and radial filters, and transform. And you can put this wherever you want, but I'm going to put it in the same folder that my original preset lives, and I'm going to title it the same thing as my original preset, and then I'm going to add just a little note at the back. So you could call it overcast day, or you could call it warmer, or if you were doing something for special clothing colors that you want to be able to click on, if they were a certain clothing color, you could be like red outfits or something like that, that's going to tell you to use this preset when that is true. So I'm going to call it overcast. Click on Create, and now you'll see here, down here in my presets, here is my new preset, which is going to be the same as the one above it, except now it's for overcast days. Third, I want to teach you how to make a preset from scratch. If you're doing hand editing, good for you, more power to you. And I still want to encourage you to use presets that you make yourself just for the sake of saving yourself time. So let's say that you know that every time you edit an image, you are going to do a certain tone curve. I'll just choose Lightroom's stock medium contrast tone curve. You know that you're going to sharpen to 50 and do noise reduction to 25. You know that you always like to remove chromatic aberration and enable profile corrections. Maybe that's your jam. And you know that in calibration, you like to bring your reds up a little, your greens up a lot, your blues up here, and that you like to, let's make some changes here that I quite often make in my colors. Oh, and also let's say that you have a certain camera profile that you like me. Now you're going to create a new preset that's going to be maybe your base preset. You're going to go up here to develop, click on new preset, and the hotkey for this is Shift Command N on a Mac. So new preset, and you're going to do what you did before, except you're only going to check the things that you want to apply. So in this case, we didn't make a ton of changes. We didn't change the white balance or the exposure, but we did change the tone curve. We did change the sharpening. We did change some color adjustments. We did do, what else did we do? All of our lens corrections. We did chromatic aberration and profile corrections and calibration down here. We did make some adjustments there in the RGB. So what I would recommend that you do if you're going to be building your own presets is create a new group. You could use just the user presets folder, but I think you should make your own folder and call it I don't know, like my super awesome presets. Oh, and I forgot it doesn't like spaces. My super awesome presets. You can call this whatever you want, but call it something cool because you're making these yourself, and that's pretty awesome. And you're going to call it whatever you want. Let's call this one base edit. You could even put details, tone curve, color, sharpen, lens corrections, calibration, or something like that. If you're like me and you're super nerdy and you like to have really long file names that are really descriptive, you could do something like that. Or you could just say, this is my base edit that I know that I apply to all my images. You can click on create, and then down here, you have your new folder. There it is, my super awesome presets and a base edit that you just created based on things that you like to do to all of your images. Another thing that you can do with creating your own presets is going to be little tweaks that you know that you do in certain instances. For example, let's say that when you do a black and white conversion, you know that you like to bring your contrast way up. And when you do your black and white mix, you know that you like to have your blues, greens, and aquas way down and your oranges up a little bit. Let's just say that you know, because you've edited so many black and white images, you know that this is how you like your black and white mix to live. You could also make sure that your split toning is at 0 for a black and white mix. You could create your own black and white preset by simply going up here to develop, new preset, or hotkeys Shift Command N. And then you're going to only check the develop settings that you want to apply when you want to do your black and white conversion. So what did we do? We brought up our contrast. We made a custom black and white mix that we love, and that's going to help us be consistent. And we're going to do split toning because I set it to 0, and we always want to make sure that split toning is turned off for a black and white conversion, unless sepia or unless that's your thing to have a little color tint on your monochromatic images. Then we'll call this black and white conversion. And click create. And now with this black and white conversion that you just created, you could apply any preset and then apply that black and white conversion. And the only thing that it's going to change is going to be the mix that we did. It brought the contrast exactly where we told it to, and it turned off the split toning. So this looks a little different than my black and white conversion, but it's actually not too terrible. So that's another way that you could create a preset that's going to save you time and help you build consistency in your editing workflow. But anyway, I hope that this was super helpful. I hope you learned something today about how to make your own presets and how to make presets your own. If you are interested in purchasing Julie Griffin presets, you can go to juliegriffineducation.com/presets. Have a great day.